Good afternoon and welcome to TalkSports. It is our Saturday Sports Special. Okay. Yes, Saturday Sports Special, and it's pre-Thanksgiving. Well, for those of you in North America in particular, especially in the United States, because I know Canada, they have their different Thanksgiving. Grenada, Thanksgiving different. Thanksgiving for Grenada was in October, right? Yeah. So, nevertheless, the big hype in the US is actually Thanksgiving, right? In fact, there's more hype on Thanksgiving than even Christmas. You know, Christmas is big for us in the Caribbean. Yeah. Let me say good afternoon to my co-host, Rudian Sylvan in Toronto. Good afternoon to you, Rudian.
Hey, good afternoon, Michael. How you doing?
I'm fine, man, and I hope all
Well,
is well
our
with you.
all is well. Our Thanksgiving was in October as well, so
Okay.
certainly we know the U.S. Thanksgiving is certainly is seem like it's bigger than Christmas. So for sure, that's when like we have our Boxing Day sale, big Boxing Day sale, which is your Thanksgiving sale. Black Friday sale is almost like our, yeah. So
Yeah, and
different timing, but the same sales.
yeah, and Grenada has Black Friday sale as well.
Of course, we need to have Black Friday sale too.
Yeah, they always have, well, as some people say, always not so much a copycat, but they
You
always
gotta
in the
move
go.
with time. You gotta move with time. You gotta move with
Yeah,
time.
they always in the go, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we are on. Let me see. Yeah. Whew. Brilliant. So as expected, as discussed the last week, right? We were planning to have our come up with some names and things like that. So, right,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
of folks who, we thought, you know, probably
Who deserve the
deserve,
name to be called. The name to
yeah,
be called.
some
Certainly.
level of mention, right?
Yeah. For all
And
they have contribute for Grenada and for sports and a whole. Yeah.
so, no, whatever we're doing here is not official. That's our
It's
own
not
initiative.
official.
So we may
Yeah.
fall short, you know what I mean? Um, may fall short and things like that. So,
But
but
that's why we need the viewers to to tune in and let us know as well, because we might be missing some names, some people that we know we've been
yeah,
missing out because we're going way back to the '60s. So I
right,
mean,
right,
there
yeah,
might be some names that we don't know. But before we start, Michael, I just want to say on here, I want to send big shout out to McDonald College for an awesome season that they had, winning 3 out of the 4 championship and coming second in the girls.
yeah.
So kudos to them.
Yeah.
Certainly, it was a good season for them.
So in fact, they were in all the finals
There
contested,
was
right?
all
They won
in all the finals. Yeah,
they won the junior and senior boys, and I think they lost the SAS in the girls.
the
Yeah.
girls. Yeah, but kudos to Saf for winning 3 consecutive, which is a hat trick, 3 in a row.
Yeah.
So I gotta give kudos to them as well for the girls. Yeah,
No, the only problem I have with that, Rudian, is that we are saying, and we have to, congratulate the ministry for continuing that in terms of football. I'm hoping to see it
yeah,
in other sporting disciplines,
in
right?
other sporting
The problem
disciplines. Yeah,
is that we do not see these footballers going the distance. So they
yeah,
excel at the secondary school. Some may
and then,
probably dabble in some clubs in terms of the Premier League, but then that's it,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
especially when they head off to the T.A. Marshall Community College,
Yep,
right?
yep. And then we have seen
You
the
know,
talent because I mean a lot of this
I'm about
young
to say
and
that,
let me give kudos to the to Shaper, St. John's Christian Secondary School. Because we don't hear much about that school in terms of sports. In the past years, yes, but in the past 10 years, we haven't heard much about them. So we certainly have to give kudos to them, and they play a phenomenal game. Even though they lose 3-1, they play a phenomenal game.
yeah.
And to see other names, in there certainly it's always a positive thing. It's always a good thing to see other schools stepping up that we talk about. They're investing. They're getting the proper coaching in there. They're doing the proper stuff. And certainly that is good to see. Um, and to see other schools like the GBSS always in the mix, always there. Even though like they said they was in the junior, but they're always there in something, which is kudos to them as well because they are, like I said, investing not in academics but also in sports as well. So surely that is so good to see. But kudos to the Ministry of Sports on that initiative. But we want to see it in other sports, not only in football. We want to see it in netball, basketball, cricket, volleyball. We want to see it in all the sports. We want to see it in all the sports, but we don't see much of it. But we're hoping that is a turnaround to come, and let's see what happened.
Yeah, yeah, certainly. Before we forget, I want to say happy birthday to our good pal Chenny Joseph, right?
Yes, and those who didn't know, a belated happy birthday to you, and a happy birthday to Chenny. This is the birthday season for both of you guys. Certainly, may God continue blessing you guys richly.
Yeah, Chenny, happy birthday to my good pal Chenny Joseph, right? Yeah,
The boss.
right. Yeah. So certainly, today is his birthday. In fact, today is also my wife's birthday. Not that I forgot,
Yes,
but
it is. Yes, it is. It is. It
yeah,
is the same day as Chenny. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. And then tomorrow is our anniversary, so it's a big celebration,
So
right?
you have a whole week. You have the DJ showing up.
And
The DJ
also,
have to show up.
yeah,
The DJ have to show up. The
and then
DJ have to show up.
also my granddaughters, my last granddaughter, is her birthday tomorrow as well. So it's a
Oh
lot
man,
of
it's a lot.
celebration.
It's a lot of
Yeah,
celebration.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
kudos to your family. Yeah,
I think it was on Monday. Was my brother, or Tuesday, I think, was one of my brother. Then on Thursday, it was myself and my twin brother, right?
yeah.
Then today is my wife. Tomorrow is our anniversary. Tomorrow is also our granddaughter's birthday. So it's a whole week of celebration.
November is a good month.
It is, it is. And sometimes I say it's the best month of the year. I know
Yeah,
I will start to
and
work on it.
and you get Thanksgiving on top of that.
Yeah, yeah. Culmination Thanksgiving. Yeah. Um, during the week, Rudian, when folks heard that we are doing that, some names were, pushed around. Okay.
Yeah,
And people will just put names of who they believe, are, deserve that.
deserve. Yeah,
And certainly a lot of people would put names that they can relate to, right? It's
yeah.
it's during their time, And a lot of the names, by the way, some of the folks, they could not have given me full name. They remember those like with nicknames, right?
Nicknames.
Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So the guy told me that like Vesta Constantine. Then we had the cat, Paul Ben Roberts. Well, they call him the cat because he was a goalkeeper and he used to spring, right? And then someone mentioned my brother. That's my brother who's a goalkeeper, but I don't think he's at that
That level.
that level. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He came late down during his time, as a
Yeah, yeah,
national
yeah.
youth. He was a goalkeeper, national youth, and senior goalkeeper. Plus Howard. Then he mentioned Big Dog, Mr. Dow, Coffee, Barnes, Sampat Harbin. We did mention
You did mention
Sampat
Sampat. Yeah, yeah,
as a
yeah.
program. Then there's Coco Monkey. So I'm just calling the names because people may maybe remember the names and
Of
then
some of
probably
those. Yeah,
give us the full name, So he says
yeah.
Coco Monkey, Sunel, Blackshine, and he said, "Oh boy, so much more." He was just flowing with names,
Flowing in
names that,
names. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
we call. And again, I'm saying that would have been in his time, certainly. We do know of
Yeah, yeah.
we know of Donald Pierre,
Yeah.
and that in itself would have been particularly for a track athlete. Well, Donald was more the long distance runner, right? So he dominated at that time was like anything like 4, 8, 15,
Yeah,
um,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
to the marathon, right? He was dominant in that. But then he had so many others that came after, and
Yeah.
yeah, they did well in terms of other sports. And then you had Donald Pierre, who was just known as a track athlete. Well, when I say
Okay.
athletics, right?
Yeah.
Then you have those like the Sampat and others who excel in various sporting disciplines.
Putting
So
discipline. Yeah.
yeah, there are those who double in football and cricket, and then have someone like Ram Folks, for example, Ashley Ram
Yeah.
Folks.
Okay, folks. Yeah.
Football, cricket. While we know him more in football, he was also cricket. He was
Cricket. Yeah.
also a good badminton player, right? And then he was really good in the what we call in the tabletop games, like the
Yeah. Yeah.
dominoes and all fours against.
Dominoes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was good in that. I don't know who you can tell me of in probably in St. Patrick who you would have come across in terms of names, but
Yeah, I did get some names during the week where, like, by the end of this week, a lot of the names I forget. But in my time, if I go to my time, I remember what I know is Franklin Batiste. Um, in terms of football, and he was a national, Miguel Warwood, and then of course I know of the
probably
Bruce one, yeah.
this one.
And somebody told me about the Batamilo brothers, Batamilo, something to that name. Somebody mentioned to me. So a lot of these people I don't, yeah, a lot of these people I don't know, because they was way before my time, especially in St. Patrick. But I know certainly St. Patrick did had a lot of great athletes that come out to play for national team who compete. Even going back to my father who competed at the Carifta Games. Um, so certain things like way back in the times. A lot of these names you're not certainly not going to remember, um, but I know certainly it'd have been good to recognize them. But I was supposed to get a list, but the list didn't come to me of some of the names that this particular person remember of some of those who has done multiple sport. And our good friend in New York, Wong, we call him John. He's also was a good goalkeeper.
Mhm.
So surely, yeah, it was good. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
For St. Andrew, for example, I can talk about in and by the way, I also want to mix it with administrators, for example.
yeah.
So someone like a Claudius George, a Peter Blair, the late Ronnie Allard, right? I want to make mention of these folks because
All this, yeah,
they have been around. And when I say sports, it's not football alone, it's not just cricket, it's track and just what's its sports in the parish.
in the
You
parish,
can
yeah, they
count
was
on
involved.
them
Yeah,
being
yeah,
involved,
yeah.
right?
But even
And
even just thinking about it. Sorry, I just popped my head. Mr. Dog. And that's the name I know him as Mr.
Mr.
Dog.
Charles,
Yeah, yeah. So certainly, and he was just only that too. He was also an official as well, for a starter as well. So those certainly had to come in. So sorry for cutting you off there.
yeah. So I was saying, so the Ronnie Allard, the late Ronnie Allard, then we had the Peter Blair, the Claudius George. In fact, there isn't anything in sports taking place in St. Andrews without the input of a Claudius George then, right? He has
Yeah.
retired and he's sort of low key now. But a lot of folks will tell you back then,
Mhm. Yeah.
these folks were instrumental in their development, right? Because
Yeah.
when you talk about grassroots sports, these were the people who were involved some way or the other,
Yeah.
right?
Certainly. Yeah.
As controversial as they may be at the time, and people may understand because people, do things differently. They have various ways of doing things different to someone, and they believe that thing. But these guys were very much involved, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
In fact, I can tell you, um, so Walter St. John, for example, would not have cricket without the input of someone like a Ronnie Allard or being involved. And by the way, I'm talking about Ronnie Allard leaving wherever he is in St. Andrews or Claudius George and coming all the way down to the city to be involved. And
Wow.
sometimes ahead of others who actually live in the city. Why?
And they said,
Because of their dedication, right? Because of their commitment. So
mm-hmm.
Mr. St. John will tell you he can rely on the Claudius George and the Ronnie Allard and those folks more than he can rely on the people who probably he's seen almost every day, you know?
Oh,
And, and,
okay,
and
okay.
these are guys who are leaving wherever they are on their own terms, whether their own transport, whatever, and coming. And mind you, volunteer work I'm talking about, Rudian. Volunteer work. I can tell you
Volunteer,
because
yeah,
I
volunteer,
mean, at
yeah,
the time I was deeply involved in journalism, in sports journalism. So these
yeah,
are the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
people who I will be in contact with to find out what's happening, especially in the parish. Football, for example, Claudius George, Peter Blair, they will give you updates on all that's happening in the parish regarding football. Cricket, Ronnie Allard and Claudius George. They'll give you a roundup. These are guys that
Roundup,
will
yeah,
call
yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah.
If you don't call them, they will call you to tell you, hey, Michael, or they'll say Ray, or whoever it is in the newsroom at the time. So it was myself, Ray, Trevor Thwaites, Roll Titus. Here's what happened in the parish this weekend, and you'll get a
Yeah.
list of all the activities that and you want to know how these guys being able to go around the park. They had the
To go
contacts.
around, yeah, they're the contacts,
They had the
yeah.
contacts, right? And they will collate the results and give you a full update of all that took place in St. Andrews. And that is the sort of commitment and dedication. That's what we're missing now. And I'm talking
Yeah.
about Rudian. That's before the internet era, right?
Long
And those
before,
guys,
long before.
yeah, those guys
Yeah,
calling on the
yeah,
phone, the phone,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
The landline. They
Like
give you
that, that's
everything.
even on cell phone. Live on cell phone,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Cell phone was
yeah,
a luxury even then,
yeah, yeah.
Call you on the landline and they're giving you the full information. There wasn't any WhatsApp. So it's not to say
Yeah,
these guys
nothing.
go on WhatsApp you all these things.
Yeah.
And
And you didn't have
that,
the access of the internet like that way that you could, internet information and send an
yeah,
email or something like that, right? Yeah.
yeah. So that is what I'm speaking about. Let me
All
see
right.
what there's some notes
Hmm?
here that
Just tell
Edwin is
them then for
saying
me then.
that administrator Scara Low. Scara Low. I don't know who is Scara Low, but he's mentioning Scara Low. In terms of administrator, Edwin, what sport? What? Give me some more details. I'd really like to know about Scara Low. Whether it was in football, cricket, whatever it is. Oh, right. I heard about Black Sheep, Mr. Williams. In fact, Horace Williams, Black Sheep, his son, Flash Williams, was one of, in fact, his name was mentioned last week, was one of Grenada's, he was an all-rounder again, footballer, cricketer, goalkeeper, and wicketkeeper. He was like a Junior Murray,
Really?
right?
Wow.
Yes. Flash. That's
Wow.
they call him Flash. Flash was
Flash,
because
yeah.
he used to flash. Yeah, he was good. Flash Williams, yeah. His father, that's Horace Black Sheep Williams. He was also very good. Just like Paul Roberts, his father, Ben
Yeah.
Roberts, he was a
Yeah.
goalkeeper. Then his brothers, all of them just, follow after him. Gordon Julian, good day. Had I known, I would have set you up at the Four Seasons, Michael, for your birthday and anniversary. Happy birthday to you and blessed happy birthday, Chenny. Thank you very much, God.
It's not too late. It's not too late.
I love that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Ali the Bellot is telling me about Frank Bartholomew. Oh, he was probably giving you the name for the person probably in St. Patrick. Is it Frank
Yes, probably.
Bartholomew? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the Frank. I think it's a few of them. I think they say like
Right.
three of them or two of them. Yeah, yeah,
Afternoon, Ali. Afternoon, Ali. Yeah. Ali is one that name Ali the Bellot is one whose name came up last week. Remember?
yes, yes, it is.
Chenny was one who mentioned the name Ali
To
the Bellot
mention him.
in
Yeah,
terms of football and cricket. And while Ali was around football a lot, like the Ram folks, a lot of
yeah,
people know that Ali was also a national cricketer, right? And
Oh,
he also played other sports like the badminton and all these other. These guys didn't just stop. Listen, it's only now, Rudian, guys are playing football or they're running track, and that's it. Those guys were I mean, they played football, cricket at the national level as well, club and national
national.
level.
Yeah, yeah,
They were even playing badminton or table tennis or whatever tennis. Just name the sport, and they
yeah,
would be involved in it. And they
yeah.
were still excelling in academics.
And
You
like
know,
I say, yeah,
it's just there were not the opportunities available for them as how they are
it is
now.
today. Yeah,
No,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. The opportunities meaning the university and the money,
and the
right?
money. Yeah,
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 and the
yeah,
money.
yeah.
All
Or
right. So
even
he
play
said,
for, or even go play for some clubs out there.
yeah,
Yeah,
right, right. He says Ferran Scarallo was in basketball. He worked in the Ministry of Sports in the mid-70s. Ferran Low. Oh, Ferran Low. Okay, Ferran Low. Yeah, I know the name Ferran Low now. Oh, so his nickname was Scara. Was in basketball. He worked in the Ministry of Sports in the mid-70s. So, wow. Bust your brain, Rudian. I mean, apart from Mr. Neville Glean, who else you think excelled from the parish?
wow. I, it's a lot of brain to bust.
A lot of
It's a
brain.
lot of brain. There's a lot of brain. I
Um, because yes, in fact,
yeah,
let me just remind you about and I don't know if anybody listening might be able to help me with that. Back then, it could have been in the 80s in particular, in the 80s, 90s. Most of the top distance runners came from St. Patrick, right? They came from, I recall that because the marathon,
yeah,
for example, yeah, they came from St. Patrick, some from St. Andrews, but I know for a few years well, because even the dog Charles you were talking about,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
He was our national champion in terms of distance
Mm-hmm.
running for
Distance
many
running.
years. Yeah,
Yeah,
distance
yeah,
running.
yeah. For
At that
many
time, we
years.
used to have
Yeah,
the marathon, half
yeah.
marathon, but the marathon used to be, we don't have marathon these days, but the marathon used to be the
Mm-hmm.
big thing. No, I know because out of River Road, we will be out going down to the city area where it is the either it used to be either Buns Point or the Esplanade area, where it's now the NIS building there, right?
Yes, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, it used to be either that's the finish line, either there or you go down to the fire station. As a matter of fact, yeah, the Buns Point
And the
fire station,
carnage. Yeah.
right on the Carnage. So we used to go there to look at the completion of it,
For the completion
and that
of the race.
and
Yeah.
those days was the prior to that, it used to be the Donald Pear, right? And then after that, you had the dog Charles that was, winning that for many years. Then there was a guy with Wilberforce, another guy from St. Patrick, somewhere around there. Wilberforce with long hair, winning that for many years as well. Ali says Kenny Phillip, the fast bowler, right? That's the fast bowler. Oh, Kenny Phillip.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I heard the
I heard
name. I heard the name.
Kenny
Yeah.
Phillip, right? And as you mentioned, Kenny Phillip, I also like to mention the late um, Kenny Hobson. Kenny Hobson was not just a cricketer. He played for Grenada. He played for Windwards. He played for, am I correct, Combined Islands, Ali, or one of them, or yeah, whatever. And then he was an administrator as well before he died, right? The late
Yeah.
Kenny Hobson. Yeah, we lost a lot of folks before we were
Yeah.
able to give them their flowers,
The
right?
flowers.
And
Yeah.
what we are trying to do here, Rudian, is to at least give some people their flowers now. Make mention
Yeah,
of
yeah,
them.
yeah.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
give them something. Yeah, give them a branch.
yeah.
Yeah, give them
Make
something.
mention of
Yeah.
them. And oh yes, he's saying yeah, fast bowler, right? Yeah. So we have and there's the generational aspect of it because you mentioned, for example, who you could have related to in your time, like the
In
Boogie
my time.
Swan,
Yeah.
Miguel
Yeah.
Swan, and those folks,
That's,
even
yeah.
um,
Franklin Batiste.
Franklin Batiste and others, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there was folks who will say, "Oh, hey, What's about the Thomas brothers, Batai
Yeah.
Thomas,
Yeah.
his brother Denison Thomas? They played football and cricket for Grenada. They represent. They listen. It's only now, Rudian, I'm reiterating, yeah, and I'm saying that, Rudian, because you're young, as we say, not directly to you, but just to our
Yeah.
people.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You're young and you will learn, right? It's
Yeah.
only now folks are just specializing in one sport. Now,
In one sport. Yeah. Yeah. No, you're
Batai
right. You're right.
Thomas, the Batai
Yeah.
Thomas and Denison Thomas and all these guys played football. I mean, you have to ask yourself how they did that. Because they were playing football for Grenada. And at one time, they were playing both, they were representing Grenada both at the junior and the senior level, right?
Wow.
It just happened that the junior team was not playing the same time as the senior team was playing, right?
Yeah.
So you had Batai Thomas, Denison Thomas, Junior Murray. These are folks I'm talking about, both
Yeah.
football and
Yeah.
cricket, right? Yeah, football and cricket. Just
And
as
then these guys of them still play for the club in the parish.
well,
Yeah, and they so they
well,
constantly
well,
there's
well,
no
no.
rest.
Well, here the other thing, Rudian. The folks as Denison Thomas and Junior Murray and others, they also played for their school, their respective
Yeah.
schools.
Yeah.
So you
Because
had
yeah.
Denison Thomas. It was Denison Thomas and Ken Campbell. Thank you, Ali. It was Denison Thomas and Ken Campbell. That was the guys, right?
Yeah.
They played for SAS. They played for the junior football and cricket, and the junior football and senior, sorry, cricket, and the junior and senior football. And they also played for SAS. You had the Junior Murray doing the same thing right across. There was another guy
Yeah.
from SAS. It was three guys in particular, right? It was Denison Thomas, Ken Campbell, and I will get his name. Ali will know because Ali was actually coach of these guys at one point in time, right? So he will remember these guys, who played and excelled. Again, Rudian, the opportunities were not there for them as how the opportunities are now. And I'm telling you, if the opportunities were available, these guys would have been millionaires because of their talents,
certainly.
right?
Certainly.
Oh, and by the way, those guys went on to play for Windward Islands as well.
Yeah.
And the other thing, Windward Islands had both the youth team and the senior team, and they were playing as well. You ask yourself how these guys were able to do that, right? Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough. Yeah.
It's over 2 decades I have been trying to get involved in getting the powers to be to research and document and archive sports way back as 1954. Well, good afternoon to you, Goatee Robinson. You have been doing that. Tora and I have been doing that. I've been making that appeal. Rudian and I have been making that appeal on our program as well.
Yeah.
So, we just have to continue trying. But whatever we can do in the meantime, right?
We can do. Yeah.
Yeah. History will absorb us that we have tried. Okay? We have tried. So whatever we can do, because at least this is on YouTube, this is on Facebook, whatever. So somehow somebody may come across it and remember the names that we are calling, right? The appeal that you yourself, Goatee Robinson, have been making. In fact, we should even mention Goatee Robinson, his contribution, not just to track and field, not just to track and field, but to administration, for example, to coaching, and these sort of things. And this is the sort of things I think the authorities, whoever they are, whether it's Olympic Committee or whoever, should really take seriously. Even the respective federations, because if the respective federations do something at some way or the other, someone will pick up on that. So let's say football is doing something at their level, then it can be collated to some extent in the national archives, right? I think it's because sports was seasonal. Yeah, a good point in that, Ali. Rudian, what do you think about that?
Well, sports it was, and something I always say. I was speaking to somebody What, a month ago now, said the same thing. Okay, when basketball is around, everybody's playing basketball. When cricket come around, everybody's playing cricket. When football, everybody playing football. And track and field, everybody's running. Um, but in this era that we're living in, there is no season no more. It's almost all the time.
Mm.
So especially football is football never die. Especially football. You look at the same in cricket now. Cricket constantly playing now because you always have cricket now. So a lot of these things now, same thing with track and field. There's no more season for track and field like before. Kids always training. They always have to be training and prepping themselves. So we don't have that anymore like we used to. Um, and football is not a seasonal thing anymore. People playing, playing all the time now. So certainly we have seen that. It's the same thing. Go back to our culture. They call job. They're gonna play it any time of the year, anytime. It's no season no more. It's not only a carnival no more. They play it anytime. So I think that's the difference with sports today. It's been playing anytime. Anytime, especially with the social media, because different parts of the world, time difference, they always have something playing due based on the weather, based on the weather system. They constantly have something going in. So certainly, I think that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gordon is saying Daddy Lacrette. Well, he's known as Septimus Daddy Lacrette. Septimus Lacrette, right? He's actually from late Septimus Lacrette from River Road. He's known as Daddy Seppi. He was known as Daddy Seppi, I should say, right? And Daddy Seppi was the groundsman at Old Queen's Park, right?
yeah,
That again, Rudian, has some rich history. If you get to know about the late Daddy Seppi and Lacrette and his brother,
yeah.
you know, they were involved in keeping the Queen's Park and the grass
The
green as
grass,
ever,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
The old
yeah,
Queen's Park. He was the
yeah.
curator, right? There was Michael Smith came after the Daddy Seppi, and he basically learned from Daddy Seppi, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and
And,
then
and that's the thing, Michael. And yeah, we're talking about the sportsmen, and sometimes we forget about those who keep those things in place. Some of the officials. We have officials who are always there. You need them. They are there. They are there. They're constantly there. And you talk about the groundsmen, those who keep the place fresh. For games. So you have all of these people, and them also make a big contribution towards sports, towards where we are today. So certainly we
yeah,
have to
yeah,
remember those. Yeah,
right. And even then, with we had the horse racing, for example, at the old Queen's Park, right?
at the open spot. Yeah,
And they were the ones who actually, you know, bred the horses and looked after, make sure that Queen's Park was what it is then, right? Yes, we missed the old Queen's Park, but I believe that when we are writing the history of sports in Grenada, there should be at least a page about the late
Queen's
Daddy
Park.
Seppi
And,
and his
and, and,
brother
and
and Queen's
yeah,
Park. Yeah,
and
yeah,
Queen's Park for all the what they've been through. Some of these fields have been through it. They've seen it all. They have seen it
yeah.
all. A lot of great sportsmen and sportswomen. Was on those fields, and we have
Yeah, but
to certainly remember
I,
those.
I am certain there are family members who can probably share some rich details about the Daddy Seppi and others, and
Yeah,
even some of the other names that we mentioned. Right? They
yeah,
may even have materials, right?
yeah,
About the late family member that
yeah.
I'm certain they will wish to share and probably preserve into a national archive, right? And I'm going back to the point that was made by Goatee Robinson, and that has been made like Toro Depredine and others before, regarding the National Archives. It's very important because
Very
what has
important.
happened, Rudian, folks like you and me will not know. I only know because probably I was involved in sports and speaking to people, but I still don't know a lot. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. I don't know, right?
But it,
And
but it also does what it does, Michael, is help our generation today. What
well,
it
well,
does is help our youth today, and I think that's lacking. Um, a lot of people will walk through, some places and they will never know, hey, this person went to the Olympics, or this person was a national, footballer or a national cricketer. And the kids don't know those things because those things is not
But,
being taught in school. And about,
but
our,
even
yeah,
not just national, but even at the community level, right?
at the
Because not
community level
everyone,
as well.
yeah,
Yeah,
not everyone may have gone on to play national
yeah,
football,
yeah, certainly.
national
Yeah,
representation, but they were good. They carried the community or the village for a
yeah,
lot of years, either
for a lot of years.
playing
Yeah,
football
yeah,
or being involved as an administrator, community organizer in sports, whatever it is like that. So, right?
yeah.
They may not have gone on to be in, have national representation, but the
Yeah,
contribution they have made to the community was good. And I think
yeah,
as villagers, because mind you, there are a lot of folks who are living in River Road now,
yeah.
and they do not know the history of Queens Park
About
Rangers.
about Queens Park Rangers. Yep.
Yeah, they do not know the history. They either born after a period, so the generation, and then there's no one who really pass on the
Yeah, the
history
history,
of
the
Queens
history.
Park Rangers. And you can go in various. I'm not
Yeah,
saying that everyone should know, right? But at
yeah, yeah.
least,
At
and mind you,
least.
and there are guys who are actually playing for Queens Park Rangers.
Yeah, yeah.
What I was told about that some time ago, about guys who actually played for Queens Park Rangers and do not know about they call about the Gavi Wilson and some of the guys. And Gavi and them are young fellas. When I say that, they didn't go back in the
Yeah,
70s and thing like that, right? Gavi and
yeah.
them was more in the late 80s and the 90s and thing. But even prior to that, the Bombo Nelson and all these Rado Griffith and all these guys who would have played probably in the 60s and the 70s and thing like that. So, and even
But
before
we,
that,
we go
right?
back when you go back to St. Mark's on Hurricane. A lot of young people in the area don't know the power of the name Hurricane, and just the name Hurricane alone is powerful. And you go back to St. Patrick, before even Eagles, not Stars was that shining forces in St. Patrick's. And a lot of people don't even know about that. But Michael, let me ask you, because I don't know much about on the female side. How many females can you remember also could we add on this list? We
Well,
had the Vida Bruno, we know about the Vida Bruno and so forth, but other the name that is not in administration position today that you probably can remember
well,
who contributed. Yeah,
last week we pulled the name of Michelle Huckleys as one
yeah.
who played sport at and represented Grenada. Well, starting with even St. Joseph Convent, then she represented Grenada in various sporting disciplines: netball, basketball, badminton, tennis, and then she was a sports administrator herself, right? Um, then we went on to, I think the name Metric. What's Metric? Dominic Lewis. Metric Lewis. Yeah, I'm trying to remember her first name, but Lewis,
Yeah.
Debian Lewis. She played. Listen, football, cricket, volleyball. Um, did she play netball? But I'm not sure about netball. But just name the sport. I know at the national level, she represented Grenada at football, cricket. In fact, she played for West Indies women's team as well, right? So
Yeah.
football, cricket, volleyball. She was a national volleyball player as well, right? And things like that. So quite a few of those folks. We have a couple of those women, and then we had up to recently we had Letitia Collymore, for example. We call her Lati.
Mm.
She played
Lati, yeah,
football. Yeah, she
yeah,
played football. She played volleyball. She played netball at the national
netball,
level. And she
yeah.
also dabbled in the track and field before. Yeah. So these are some Rudian. Just so you have a point there. I'll see if let me see. Goti is saying basketball, volleyball, track and field. Well, Ali will. I'll try to see if Ali could probably add some to us in a moment. But uh, who you think, Rudian, are others that you believe? You asked me the question, but do you think of any woman in particular?
Man. Track and field. Certainly, we gotta talk about Hazelman Rages. I mean, she is certainly in my time. And my time that I know. Wow. Um, there certainly has been a lot. Michael, there's certainly been a lot, and a lot of this women I don't know much about them in terms of
I
making
like,
national teams and so.
I like
Yeah,
what you say.
but
You don't know
yeah,
what's
certainly
about them.
I don't know much, but the truth. But certainly when we know, we can you watch some,
Okay.
we watch them
Right.
play and so forth, but you don't know
Yeah.
much about them. Yeah,
Okay, so Margaret Dow, thanks, Michael. Michael Jackson, thank you. Michael, thank you very much for joining us. Michael is somewhere in Texas. Yeah, Michael, he played football as well. I don't even want to say the club, but he's Fontenoy United, formerly Fontenoy United. Yeah, so Michael, yeah, Margaret Dow, netball and administrator as well. My dear,
yeah,
she
yeah,
administrator as well. That's another one we can talk about, Rudian, that you can add
yeah.
in terms of the women,
Add to the
right?
yeah, yeah,
Yes, yes. And she left a long trail of. In fact, there's a competition, a netball competition named after her, the Margaret Dow um, Peter David netball tournament. It's staged in River Road, right? And it's all
yeah,
because of her contribution. Um, let me see. Goti said, for the past 3 months, I've been here in New York chatting with the Alistair Telesport. Well, yes, Alistair is one.
so
Tony
that's what.
Henry,
Yeah,
another
yeah,
one. The Donald
yeah,
Pierre, we mentioned it. Morris Bull Williams, that's another name. Morris Bull Williams. Selwyn Smith. Well, Selwyn Smith name came up last week as well.
yeah.
Whatever competition Selwyn participated in terms of the javelin, he won it. What do you think he didn't go to the Olympics, right? No, I'm telling
Yeah,
you. So he dominated the character games for all the years he participated. He went on to
participated. Yeah.
CAC. He went on to CAC games. Again,
Mm-hmm.
I think the only thing that would have hampered him from moving forward was injury, right? Selwyn Smith. So
Yeah.
before the Anderson Peters, there was actually a
Actually,
Selwyn
yeah,
Smith.
there was. Yeah, there was. Yeah, certainly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Certainly, Rondell. Rondell
yeah,
was phenomenal as well. So we
yeah.
cannot forget him. Yeah,
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 Rondell was there as well.
yeah,
So let me wait for Ali to fix up his video. He's just signing in, and Ali will give us a little insight into some of those things. He just need to, he's kind of close up. So once he gets
yeah, yeah,
in
yeah,
there,
yeah.
yeah, he will be there. He wrote Gotti saying, Alistair's telephone is still alive, and he, and if not one of the brainchild of the Rangers Sports Club, right? So he was involved. Yeah, yeah, I know Alistair.
Rangers, yeah.
Yeah, Rangers Sports Club back then. Basketball, volleyball, track and field. He said Margaret Dow. Okay. Roger is saying Verlin Duncan, long distance runner. Sharon. Was Sharon? Was it Sharon Charles? I'm trying to remember. They were distance runners back then when we had those. We are talking about the distance running, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
They were the female that dominated distance running for all these years, Rudyard, right? Yeah. When you go to watch, as a matter of fact, since from school sports, I mean, they're lapping everyone. They're
Jeez.
lapping, right? Yeah. So let me see if we can add Mr. DeBella in, and because Ali will be able to give us, Rudian, those sort of names that you fighting up to get, right? Because Ali period would have been one. Good afternoon to you, Ali.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Yeah, Ali.
Yes.
Forgive us. I mean, we're trying to box our brain, but you might be able to assist us, right? Um,
Well,
uh,
if you young guys can remember, I mean, this won't be.
yeah, I mean, yeah.
But you gotta
Okay,
forgive me because I wasn't born in some of those days. So
okay,
certainly you gotta
okay,
forgive me for that.
okay. Yeah, well,
Well,
one of the guys to come to mind from Victoria, Patrick John Prenge, he was called. He played both cricket
right,
and football for
Prenge.
Grenada.
Yeah, I know the
Prenge.
name
Yeah,
Prenge. I didn't know his full
I know.
name. I heard
I
the
heard.
name.
I heard the name Prenge. Yeah.
Yeah, Patrick John, and a time in Dominica, he met the premier Dominica, who is John Patrick. So, Patrick John and John Patrick. So the prime minister thought he was Mama Guide, John Patrick, and he said Patrick John.
uh,
Come to find out that was his real name. He
yeah,
also had the Marquez brothers, eh?
right.
They
The
played both.
Marquez in St. John's.
Yeah, yeah.
But Ali, if I may ask you, because you would have been around the time. I don't know if was it Dauntless, something like that. So was it Dauntless and Uphams and those sort of
Daughters
things?
and Autumns, yeah.
Yeah,
I played
they
for
were the two.
Autumns.
Right, so they were the two dominant clubs that played both football and cricket.
Yeah.
Right. So tell us something, because why it is in those days, Ali, that you folks were able to double in football, cricket, badminton, still do a little track, and still do the academics. I mean, how that was possible?
And he didn't have lights.
All right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I think really. Oh, before I go on, I will call another name, Melo Peters.
Right.
Yeah.
Melo. Well, remember Melo lost his leg through sports, right? Yeah.
Right. He played for Grenada. Yeah.
Right.
I think, but it was a lot of commitment, and that was the main activity. There wasn't a phone and the suit, you know. So, for example, you play cricket. I remember us playing cricket in the morning and football in the afternoon and tennis in the night, you know, in the evening. That is nearly whole day. Yeah.
All day, yeah.
So I think is that sort of commitment and that sort of I don't know what and everybody in those period of time do a little housework, cleaning the yard. Don't talk around Christmas time with them windows and everything. and, and we still would have been playing all the sport, you know.
Well, and you were going to school, eh? You were schooling at the time.
Oh yeah, because since in school I was playing for the national teams, you know, and I
Yeah.
played both, as you said, youth and senior cricket. I dominate the year I ran. I win the 60, the one, the two in sports, and I still play tennis. And anytime I talk to Jason Stanislaus, I must remind him that I said I defeated him once. He said he didn't have enough space behind his back, but no excuse.
And,
And the badminton, you know,
yeah, badminton.
lawn
Yeah.
tennis. I played lawn tennis too, you know.
Mhm.
So
So
and then you still have to train, eh? That's the crucial thing that's not happening these days. Nobody in
yeah,
training. You still have to train.
Ali, and we were mentioning. Well, when we were talking earlier, you put up the names of the Ken Campbell. You reminded me of Ken Campbell, right?
Yeah.
And I talk about Denison Thomas. I think the other name was Sonny. Was it Sonny?
Sonny. No.
Yeah. There were these guys who played football and cricket,
And cricket.
but we knew about the Ken Campbell and the Denison Thomas, who were tops in those times, and simply because you would have known, because I think you coach or something around
Yeah.
those times, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But what can you tell us about that Thomas, what do we call them, the
Yeah,
family,
Bataille
the
and
Bataille, and right,
yeah,
and
four brothers.
right,
Probably the only four brothers that might have played for Grenada, the Frederick brothers.
the Frederick
You
brothers,
had
right? Because you have
Bataille,
Frederick and Thomas, yeah.
yeah, it's Frederick and Thomas, but his brothers. Yeah.
Mm.
You had Denison, you had
Denison.
Bataille, you had Franklin, and the big brother. All four played. In fact, probably three of them would have skipped Grenada at some point in time. Yeah. But one of the things that we get left with is the first person that played from Grenada that played for West Indies cricket.
And that's who?
It's a lady, really, eh? A
Oh,
lot of people think it's Murray, but it's a lady, and she played at the age of 16 for West Indies. Joan
That's
Alexander.
Joan Alexander, who lives here in the US, right?
Right. I think she's
Yeah.
associated with the US
US cricket,
cricket
yeah.
team.
She
cricket,
was a
yeah.
manager. She was a manager, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's, you know. So
Yeah, I
when we
think
doing
she's
the act, you know, you have a lot of things we had to put in, as you say, Daddy Sep, and we can't forget old police and sockets,
Mm-hmm.
man. You know, these guys rolling the wicket. Now you sit down and you're driving. These guys would have rolled the wicket whole day.
Mhm.
and some of them under the influence of not soft
The
drinks,
thing.
you know. And whole day they rolling the wicket and I mean producing top class wicket. I also felt that a part of that old pavilion should have remained standing. Something,
Stand there. Mhm.
yeah, to link back to that era, which was probably the greatest era of cricket. I don't know if we'll ever pass it because cricketing seems to be going up, but to have that probably
Yeah.
and
I just say,
something,
Gordon is saying that
something
National
should be
Archive is a must. The history of
yeah,
Queen's
yeah.
Park, Hurricane Dauntless Autumns, the targeted time period should be 1954 till present. Let's try to retrieve the memories. problem is the problem is getting people who can relieve those things.
E- e- Even Hurricane, I mean, they are talking
Yep.
about Paradise winning football or 3 or 4 years now or whatever. Hurricane, where you win football, more close to 10 years.
Yep. Yep.
Because
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of
Certainly.
years they won.
Certainly. A lot of years.
Yeah,
A lot of
a lot
years.
of
Yeah.
years. Mm.
Ali, there's a question. Someone wants to know. They say, ask Ali if he remembers Check Say from Guelph. She dominated long distance running throughout the region. Check Say is the
Yeah,
name.
yeah. I know the name, but I can't really recall the person. But yeah, definitely, yeah.
Okay, and that's,
And of course, you had people like Ford, you know, Ford and the
yeah.
bicycle, yeah, from all the way from Gov, yeah,
Okay. Sharon Charles, Christine Sincere, Volin Duncan, female distance runners. Yeah.
distance
I
runners,
think,
yeah,
yeah, female distance runners.
yeah,
Thank you, Goti. But back then, we were trying to get some names of those folks, Ali, in St. Patrick in particular, because I don't know if you recall,
Mhm.
distance running was big, marathon in particular. And we had most of these distance runners coming out from either St. John's, St. Mark's, St. Patrick's, and to a lesser extent, St. Andrews. Some of the names from
yeah.
St. Patrick's. Rudian mentioned Dog Charles, for example.
Charles,
I
yeah,
think you work. I think you worked with him for a while.
yeah. He said that guy, I need to stop him, man. The guy, I need look as if he didn't eat for many days. And his vest arm was somewhere by his waist, and he lapped him about 3 times in Queen's Park. He said that was the end of it. Yeah, and I think the guy name was Moto Sammy, man. Yeah, put that into dog. Yeah, dog.
Okay.
Charles was surely there, but Ford. I'm not too sure who were the other distance runners, but normally they dominated the long events.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then
Mm.
we
Yeah.
had we had the Callistus Bonaparte and them who came long after, right?
Long after, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I remember Callistus Bonaparte himself, dominating his time. But as you said, we had quite a few of those folks who dominated, long distance running, and these days we don't even have a marathon. We have the 5K and 10K,
5K.
not even a half marathon.
You know, a guy that was real, of course, Val Adams.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
That
Val.
kind of skipped me there. Val
And
Adams. Yeah.
Eros Rapier, one of the coolest footballers and an athlete you will see. I
Athlete,
think he
yeah,
still has. I think he was the first person that won a medal in
won a
character
medal
or something.
character, yeah, that represented Grenada.
Yeah,
In fact, he's the first person to win a medal at character games because it was the first event with a final.
right. Yeah.
So he won the javelin for Grenada,
Yes.
and also it would have been the first final event for the character games.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he would have
Yes.
been around the Goatee Robinson era and thing like that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Eros.
So
Yeah. Just
Ali,
being. Go ahead.
the importance of archiving, it's something we have been talking about for quite a while. You think that is very important? Eh?
Yeah, of course, I making mine, but I think the rest of the people. I be working on mine. But I always say need because there's an old saying, Bascoman, that if you don't know where you come from, it's very
Yeah,
Yeah.
difficult to know where you're going.
It's
we're
And
very
I
going.
difficult to
think
know where
that's
you're
the
going.
problem.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Grenada, West Indies cricket. I mean, so much other things that it
Mm-hmm.
seems that people believe some of the things they're hearing and they're doing now. Like if it just start,
Mhm.
they don't
Yeah.
realize how much people have done these things and what they did to do what they do, and so, and people just come and get it at a top level and think, oh boy, that is all. But and
Yeah.
not much recognition is given to those people who struggle to get it right at the bottom and hand it over to
Mhm.
them.
Yeah. We had the Jackson sisters. Thank you, Michael, for that. The Jackson sisters, Deborah, Patty, and Gail, netball and track. Um, I very much remember. Edwin is saying about the Garrett and Pierre brothers in cycling.
Cycling, yeah, the
Yeah,
Pierre brothers, three of
yeah.
them, yeah, three of
That's
them
the late Leslie
from
Pierre
Belmont.
son, right?
Son, yeah, Roger.
Yeah,
Only
yeah. I know Roger.
Roger. One died not too long
Too
ago.
long ago. Yeah,
Uh,
Derek, I think,
yeah,
died not too long ago. Yeah,
right.
and then we also had what's his name? Sampum was the nickname. Samson,
Samuel.
Samuel, right? Well, yeah,
Yeah, his son is riding still, eh? His son,
okay,
yeah, his
that's
son
good.
is still a cyclist.
All right, that's good. And of lately we had the Wayne Wagiti redhead who played football and table
And
tennis
tennis.
and
Yeah.
yeah
Yeah.
and tennis, right? Um,
And Ding. People like Ding.
oh, that's
Oh,
Lincoln. No, Leon
another person
Francis.
that was very, very good all around was Michael Pop Bridgman.
Right. So his name came up last
Last week, yeah.
week, and I knew Pop as the footballer.
No man, Pop was. I'll tell you why Pop didn't make Grenada team, because he was definitely one of the top batsmen and bowlers in the time, and there was some issue with them and Walter St. John, and they didn't ease up on him, and he left a few of them, including I think people like Ewart Lane, Eastman. A lot of guys were left off the trials because of the behavior, and probably that's why he didn't make the Grenada
um,
cricket team.
all right,
Ah,
Ali, just stand by. Rudian, some final
yes.
word from you. I know you have to leave
Good,
now, but
certainly, man.
Ali will stay on with us.
And I'm listening to you guys, and it's not only to do this on a national level, but it's also to do it on a parish level as well, so that the communities could know, the young people could also know what happened. How did they get to where they are now in terms of sports, and those legends that left, that that we have cannot forget behind. So certainly, Michael, we're going to continue on this topic. We need to have this out for Grenada itself and a whole, to remember those who who have left that legacy behind, that where we are today, and then a forward movement. Because sometimes it's hard to move forward if you don't know where we're coming out from. And those who have labored their time to bring the sport to where that now. And before Kirani, we have so many athletes who have done great. They didn't get a medal, but they have done great things for Grenada. They have put Grenada on the map. So certainly is those people we do have to remember, and not forgetting the Kirani and those who have put us on the map, but certainly we do have to remember those in the past, and then
Yeah,
for a forward movement.
yeah. Thank you very much,
Thank you,
Rudian.
Ali. It's a
Yeah,
pleasure, and we will talk again soon.
yeah. Okay
Michael,
then.
enjoy your weekend and everything, the anniversary, many, many more years to come. I love you, man. You're a good man. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Rudian.
I have a
Yeah.
go.
So Rudian is leaving us for now. But Ali, thanks for staying on, because we also have we speak about those who probably would have left us and things like that. So there's one that I want to make mention of. It's the Kellen Batiste.
Oh yeah,
Because we have the Kellen Batiste Foundation, and
foundation.
we have the annual Kellen Batiste Memorial Football Match that's taking place on December 6th, Saturday, December 6th. That will be the next Saturday. Well, yeah, the 6th of the first Saturday in December, right? Monrouge playing field, Just Sports on the 15 versus Rangers on the 15, and then the feature then they have Grand Mall Generals versus Just Brands St. Andrews, and then the Kellan Baptiste Select 11 versus St. David's Masters FC. So that's Saturday, December 6th at Monrouge playing field. And
Yeah.
certainly, Ali, Kellan Baptiste is someone you would have known because you would have coached Kellan Baptiste.
Yeah, and not just coach. I mean, when Kellon was probably the first goalkeeper I selected on under 16 team,
Mhm.
and 10, 15 years after, I went to assist Hard Rock, and this guy, just anything I tell him do, he just wouldn't do it. So I called the manager and I said, "Well, look what happened." So the manager said, "Well, what is the problem?" He said, when he was under 15, Rado had the team and he was the goalkeeper. And as I took over the team, I put Kellon in the goal. It was 10, 15 years after. he still figured I did the wrong thing. And I said, but look where Kellon reached. So, but the Kellon was a
Mhm.
very close friend to I. We related very, very well all through his career. He's one
Correct.
of the
Yeah.
people that was really dedicated to his task as a goalkeeper.
Yeah, as a goal, yeah, I would say so. Yeah, so that's happening, and also as part of the Kellan Baptiste Foundation, they also welcoming the Dominica's first Olympic gold medalist, Tia Lafont. She will be the special guest at the um, memorial football match. Right, so she will be there. But apart from that, she will also assist in speaking to members of the Grenada Character Games team.
Okay.
She is now, yeah, apart from a gold medalist, uh, she is also a motivational speaker as well, you know, and she will be there in Grenada for that um, memorial football match. She'll be the special guest, and she'll be meeting with some of the athletes, the young athletes, and others as well. So thank you very much for the Kellon Baptiste Foundation Inc. and putting on that. Ali, so we're going back to the whole issue of some of those who would have, you know,
Documenting.
yeah, well, they documented, but but we know back then, Ali, we had two dominant clubs in St. George's area. You said the
Autumns and
Atoms
Dauntless.
and the Dauntless, and they would have probably produced some of the most talented all rounders um, back then. And and I assume the Autumns and Dauntless was even there before your time.
Yeah, because my father was a member of
Look at
Autumns.
look at that. Right.
Yeah.
So what would have caused the demise of Autumns and Dauntless?
Ah, I think migration would have been one of the leading thing. Um,
Okay.
the 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 bulk of them left for a year, a particular year. The blonde, nearly our entire team left for the states. It could have been somewhere in the 70s. All right, and that sort of matched the quality started to go. I remember Kenny Hobson skipper in Autumns, and they said that after about the fifth match was the first time he actually got 11 men to play, and he didn't know where to put the 11th person because he saw Costa with 9 and 10. So that's how the Dauntless and Autumn started to deteriorate, and then it was sort of school leavers from Autumns from GBSS and PBC.
Mhm.
Seems that is where the two his ex students seems to started that, and then you started having more secondary schools and more talented people that didn't go to secondary school, and you know, and I think that's the key to it because I played for Autumns. Kenny, Wayne, Bob, all of us played for Autumns, but then we end up playing for Point because the other clubs now started in your area. Because basically that was the two clubs in town with Rangers after a time. So
Time,
you
yeah.
multiply
Rangers came
for
into
one
it.
of them.
Yeah.
I think there was one Green Street closer to the Caranage area. Yeah. But after these clubs, other clubs started to form, Cavaliers and GCC and
Yeah.
Fontenoy. the Autumns and the Dauntless started to sort of, and then they were quote unquote the Walter St. John and them that were in charge, and people were going for the younger persons, and different clubs. And I think that led to it.
Okay. Um, Gotti spoke
Do you
about the Reverend
remember,
Raymond Roberts.
but before you go on, that street where you stayed, every house on that street had somebody who played on the national team.
National team. Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You had the Clouden at the first one. Then there's this guy I never really know his surname, Marvin Boy. He played for national team. You had Blondell Church.
Done
You
that,
had
right.
Pangalang and then you had Super. That's at the top of the hill.
Super
And then on the
himself.
other
Yeah.
side,
Yeah.
and then the other side, well, of course, you had where you was a national journalist, but then you had Claude Dikoto, Sampat Harbin, Pinky Chase, Romain, and myself.
And then you had
every house.
then you had and Dandarat was staying somewhere at the top, eh?
Somewhere at the top, yeah.
Somewhere at the top, yeah.
And Romain.
Dandarat. Yeah.
Right. So nearly,
Yeah.
Danda was at the top, yeah.
Top, yeah. Dandarat was at the top.
Every house.
And then Jericho was always Jericho was also up there that street as well. Jericho, Jericho came from up that area playing basketball in particular, right? Yeah. You had lots of folks there. Gotti was saying about Raymond Roberts was the master of distance running.
Yes.
You remember Mr. Roberts, right?
Of course, my very, very good friend. A couple of 2-3 years ago, I still met him. He was walking, going somewhere. Still, I don't know what is the situation now, but he definitely was the king of walking.
Yeah. And then, Roger is talking about
again. You see, as we keep saying, these guys are going and people don't know them. I'm sure people will be passing him in the road and doesn't have a clue who's this gentleman.
That's what I'm saying, Ali. You might be surprised that there are folks in certain villages that do not know who are those guys that excel probably 10, 15 years ago. I was telling Rudy, and there are guys who playing for Queen's Park Rangers now and don't know about a bombo.
Yeah. And he walks River Road every day.
That's what I'm saying. And they may only know about Rado Griffith if Rado comes around. You understand? Yeah. And somebody's talking about
Marilyn.
Marilyn who played Marilyn Nelson who played cricket and football, right?
And football.
Yeah. And football. Yeah. Roger said Wagiti was a better athlete than he was a table tennis player. Was running 10.8 seconds at intercall. So you had Wagiti and then you had the Leon Francis, the Ding Francis and those. Leon was an athlete and a footballer.
Yeah.
Leon Ding Francis, right?
There's another one from Guelph, Dikoto.
Leon Dikoto, yes. Yeah. So last week we spoke about Leon Dikoto, who was, as I said, if everything went at that time went okay for Leon Dikoto, he probably would have been Grenada's first Olympic or world champion.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. And I'm talking about before stadium. This guy was just fast. I mean,
he was quick.
I mean,
we still chat. Still see him every now and then.
You had Leon Dikoto and Leon Francis. You could recall intercall with these guys in 100 meters, line up at Queen's Park on the grass.
At the grass.
Yeah. All Queen's Park on the grass. Leon Francis, Leon Dikoto, and I'm trying to remember who were the other guys that would have been in that lineup at 100 meters.
I think even Pierre, if Grenada was in the Olympic Association before, because the guy who won the 400 or whatever, he came to Trinidad in a meet and Pierre defeated him.
Defeated him, The Olympic, yeah. But that was prior to Grenada being involved in the Olympics, yeah.
Pierre would have been probably way up there in our time.
Yeah. Butty James, Atoms football. Butty James, Ali.
But strongest footballer.
All right,
He's
Edwin.
definitely the
And
strongest. And he
and
was at
John
St.
Jackson
John
is
too.
saying Major George Jackson, football. Yes,
Jackson.
yes, yes. Jackson, Jackson.
I think he's the first person worldwide that player overlapping defender. Major Jackson. Yeah, I
Oh,
never saw
really?
it before. Yeah. He used to come from the back right up to the wing on a regular basis, long before he hear about people overlapping. He was definitely one of the key people in that.
Okay. Wow.
Major
Um,
Jackson. But
Remember between 1979 1983, a sports policy was in place. I actually was a sports officer in St. Andrews in 1980. That's Goatee is talking about that. The Jackson brothers played for Ottams,
yeah, they are from
right?
Point.
And right. And Edwin Sam said, "Don't forget my horn feather." That
And,
was
and, and don't and,
Edwin in
and don't forget Edwin Sam, eh? And don't forget him. He tried to
yeah
keep him for some time, eh? But when they
for horn
realized
feather.
when the goals was scoring too easily, they put him in more managerial role than goalkeeping.
So Edwin, you're hiding that from us, eh? Edwin, right? Ali, in your case
That
now.
was literally my neighbor, eh?
All right. To get
Yeah.
into autumns, when I did was because I went and played for PBC. Ali, Goti is saying that, so hmm, it was very difficult probably at those times to get into those probably to get into those teams, well, the autumns and the dauntless, right? Because it was so competitive, Ali, that it was probably difficult for you folks
Yeah,
to get into
yeah.
to those teams. And so many
And
talents, Ali.
that's what led to other teams.
Oh, okay, right. The formation of other clubs and things
Yeah,
like that.
because it was difficult to get in these teams.
Wow. Edwin said he really thought you all were friends. you blow you blow him, you blow him there.
Tell me, only friends are doing business, man. You have to be a good friend.
Well, I assume in back in those days, Ali, it was all about fun, having fun, right?
Fun, yeah. And crowds. This is up to yesterday. We were talking about it in somewhere. The crowd that came on to see our Autumn's Dauntless, Autumn's Hurricane, Autumn St. John's Sport, that or Limbex from Sotez. I mean, this thing was sell out. Sell out.
Right. Yeah.
Sell out crowd. There was not a space on the touchline in this game. And I talking about right wrong the field. Today you have a few people sit down on the bleacher and then people say, whoa, you see people watching that game. They're really missing some history, man.
Yeah. Um, Before you join us, Ali, I mentioned the names of the late Ronnie Allard, Peter Blair, and Claudius George as
Yeah.
people who were very much involved in sports and sports administration, especially in the parish of St. Andrew, but even to an extent nationally, because the Walter St. John, for example, wouldn't want to have an activity without the input of a Ronnie Allard and Claudius George in terms of
Claudius.
assisting. And football wouldn't have wouldn't probably, they would like to have Peter Blair to assist them
Peter.
some way or the other. And these are guys who are leaving wherever they are in St. Andrew and finding their way to St. George's to be involved. Ali, you have been around both football and cricket. Talk about their involvement in sports over the years.
Well, I think I will put Claudius at the top because Claudius used to umpire and score at the same
Oh,
time.
right. Okay, I forgot that
That's to
one.
give you
Yes,
an
yes, yes.
idea.
Yeah, because
And
that's how
of
you
course,
used to.
you would have prepared the wicket, cut the field. Alad was more like selector,
And
and so
yeah,
Claudius was
administrator.
on the ground. You call him, you have to go and get a bail or get a stump, and he'll
Yeah.
find it somewhere and bring it
And
and
he's
come and
still
umpire
organizing
and high score
refreshment and all
whilst
kind
he
of thing.
umpiring.
Yeah.
Yeah, Claudius George is surely on top of the list there. But the others are surely people who keep the parish of St. Andrew going. People might,
Wo-
I mean,
Yeah,
you know, in football and people, you know, these guys, as you said, is not generally a meeting is in St. George's, and these guys will not miss a meeting, you know.
meeting. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Peter
And
Blair
and
and all that.
and Ali, and all of that was before you had things like directors getting money and all these things. That
Oh
was just
yeah,
volunteer work on those parts,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. That was volunteer and storm ride and get a job to go back up and this jumper banana truck and them sort
Truck,
of thing
yeah,
to get back home. You know,
yeah.
yeah.
And we don't see that sort of commitment and dedication from administrators again.
No, you see guys getting. Just recently we talking about that. You see guys getting allowances, and you don't even see them watching a match. Far less coming out. And you remember in those days, in fact, what it is, Sunday, 2 or 3 days we were
Saturday.
sticking. Right, a match had to play in Tempe, and the referee didn't show up because there was some issue where the referees didn't know. And the guys were saying, boy, long ago, you just go and check one of the men, and the men come and referee the game. Like 2 teams there warming up, no referee, and you had to wait on the official referee. And nobody is never aware that the referee is not there to make 2 calls. And that is what probably some of the things that people have to know what has been
Mhm.
happening to know where we reach where we are today. Yeah,
Yeah.
so many games not playing because of referee or umpiring show up. This thing didn't happen. Anybody coming from the stand and come and umpire the game or referee the game.
And that's
That
people
is
who
some of the things.
knew. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
everybody knew. I tell people in our era, Bascom, the average person on the touchline, and that is why young people could have developed so quick. The average person would have able to tell you how to pass a ball or how to bowl a ball. The average person.
Mhm.
And that is a lot of people. So as you pick up a ball and you turn your hand, somebody could tell you, no, 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 no. Straighten your elbow, or
R-
or kick with the head
Yeah.
stick. And that is just people watching, not even playing, because people are
Mhm.
so into the sport. Now with modern technology and all sort of thing, you're seeing guys 17 coming to practice cricket and can't turn their hand or don't know how to bowl, how to kick a ball properly. That couldn't happen in our era, and it took us a much longer period of time playing before we get to the because the first team was under 19, right?
Mhm.
Now the first team is under 14 or something 13 or somewhere down there. So you would have to continuously play since that age to get to the under 19. No, you have national team at under 14 and they reach under 19 and they still don't know what to do yet. So I think, something, I don't know if it's worldwide or Caribbean, but you could see from the World Cup qualifiers that something wrong with sports in the Caribbean.
All right. I'm glad you. That's a nice segue because I say before we leave, I want to get your reaction since you were a national coach and you've coached Grenada even against Haiti, against Curacao when we traveled to Haiti and those places together. So you know about that. Ali, what's your reaction when you heard Haiti and Curacao in particular among qualifiers for the World Cup?
Well, surely Curacao has a big advantage, right? And
Mhm.
I give a little history because I spoke to them. Because I mean, we played Curacao a couple of years ago and joined Curacao, and then a few years after Curacao give us 10. But what is Curacao? The majority of the people know is people who went to the Netherlands,
Right.
born in
It likes
Curacao
like
and went to the Netherlands.
is it like Suriname as well as Suriname? The Dutch influence? I think we lost Ali for now. I think we have a yeah, we lost him for now. I think he will hopefully he gets his connection back. We just have a frozen screen with Ali. But he was talking about the reaction, his reaction regarding the qualification of Curacao and Haiti in particular, because Grenada would have played Haiti, would have played Curacao. In fact, Ali was a coach, one of the coaches who coached the Grenada national team when they played against Haiti, when they played against Curacao. In fact, I traveled with the national team those days to Curacao. We traveled also to Haiti, Cap Haitian, and that's Ali. And then we also had Ram folks who also coach as well. So they know, about the Haitian team, even though the players may have been different, but in terms of the structure of Haiti's football and things like that. So, and all that they have been going through, particularly the Haitians, no doubt, it's kudos for them qualifying, because Haiti plays most of their matches outside of Haiti. Back then they played a game or two, and it used to be in Cap Haitian. That's away from all the violence and things like that. So now they have to play their matches, their home games as well, in foreign countries, like in the case of when they played against Nicaragua. Their home game was actually in Curacao. Curacao was actually in Jamaica, playing Jamaica, while Haiti was in Curacao playing Nicaragua, and Curacao was like Haiti's home turf, right? That is what, and then they came to the United States to play some of their games, especially in Florida area, I think, in particular. So kudos to them. Let me see if Ali will rejoin us shortly. Those days, that's from Goti. Those days we had qualified officials. These days we depend on certified officials who must be paid. So there's a difference. I love that. We had then qualified to now certified, and the certified must be paid, even though the qualified were not paid. Interesting. I'll remember that. Goatee. That's a very nice one. Yeah. So as I indicated, we have the Kellen Batiste Foundation, the memorial game. Well, the memorial games, yeah, because we have about 3 of them scheduled for the December the 6th, Saturday, December 6th at the Monrouge playing field. And we have Fia Lafon of Dominica's first Olympic medalist. She will be in attendance as well. She will be there. She as the guest of the Kellen Batiste Foundation, Inc. And she will also be speaking to use the opportunity while in Grenada to speak to some of the junior athletes as they prepare for the for the Carifta Games. Really? Can be the Olympics. Yeah, the Carifta Games. Regarding tickets, Edwin, I know you asked about that. No, I have not had any information again from the officials, the LOC particular, about the tickets, the availability of tickets. What I'll do after the program, again, I will try to see if I can get some more information regarding that. The availability of tickets for the Carifta Games, when they'll be on sale, and the mechanism being used for tickets for the Carifta Games coming on the 4th and from the 4th to the 6th. Yeah, the 4th to the 6th of April 2026. Well, Ali has rejoined us, so let me see. Ali, back again. You were making the point about Haiti. Yes.
Yeah, Curacao, that so a
Curacao,
lot of
sorry.
the
Yeah.
guys, right? A lot of their guys play at the highest level football teams at Ajax and these things. So they has that advantage. But Haiti, I have to give them a lot of credit because the situation with Haiti, and although I think most of the team lives in the USA, right? But they grew up under Haiti conditions and shift over. So but again, these have been some of the top teams in the region for some time, really. Yeah, I think they make use of the opportunity that now they're the USA, Mexico, and Canada was not there, and you have to give them real credit. I think Jamaica maybe a bit of hard luck, but still has a chance. But I know it's going to be tough on them.
Yeah.
I think
Still a
I
chance
always
because
say that was the best opportunity for somebody else besides these three teams, and a lot of
To
teams
me,
had that opportunity to get to the World Cup.
yeah, I think that was the best opportunity for even teams like a Grenada, for example, using
Yeah,
the Grenada,
yeah.
for
But you know,
example.
Grenada would
Yeah,
have been close in because remember we draw with Trinidad, and Trinidad go right
yeah,
up to the last round.
the last round. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right. So could you imagine a Grenada in a situation as Jamaica? They could have been licking their lips because it is a possibility, because I believe, I kind of surprised that Jamaica is changing coaches now at this point, but um, I believe Jamaica can make it to the World Cup through this opportunity they have now. New
yeah.
Caledonia
I
is New
think so.
Caledonia, and then
I
probably
think so.
Iraq. I believe, but there are those who probably may have a different view on that. you know,
I think they
um,
have a good chance still.
yeah, they do have a good chance. I want to go back to one point that was made while you were off from Goatee Robinson. He says, those days we had qualified officials. These days we depend on certified officials who must be paid.
According to talk of today, Guti is being sport political. I
Politically
think,
correct. Politically correct.
yeah, I think he's politically correct. I think, well, Bascom, again, probably we need to document with history because today in the school there's a thing called the physical education teacher, right? In all the schools. In our time, you had the games master that know every sport. The physical education officer now might be a tennis player or cricketer that going and coach football or athlete that going and coach cricket. So even if in a small country, the one school that might have this good footballer but have an athletic coach coaching it might never come true. And so we're losing we one or two little talents we had. I always say I didn't used to play cricket when I go to BSS, but the games master tell me come and bowl. And when he see your bowling, he say no, you have to play cricket because he could have, he knows cricket. And I'm
Right.
saying that as long as we have this system with this so-called physical education teachers at the base level, we are not going to produce top sports people easily. If they get left, you see now at 13, 12, you have to be on a national team. So when you have somebody teaching you at 10 and 11 and they teaching you the right thing, you get left at 12 and 13. That is it for you. So I think that is one of the real issues that we have. And of course, not enough is being played even at the primary and secondary level. But the few that is being played, if we had the right people dealing with them, I think we would have been in a better place now.
Right. Ali, and as we get ready to wrap up, I just want to ask you about getting back to the issue of our recognizing our sporting heroes, as we probably call it. Um, do you think that not enough also is being given in terms of recognition to those who would have blazed the trail before, especially on the female side? I know you mentioned, for example, Joan Alexander, first cricketer, played for West Indies at any level, representing Grenada, and and apart from and by the way, little is said about Joan, even though Joan likes to be under the radar, right? Little is said about Joan and her achievements then, but there are a lot of women who would have blazed the trail apart from Joan, apart from Vida, for example, Nadika, the Janice Celestine and others who would have played netball and all this sort of thing. Do you think that a lot of our
Michelle
women are
Ockley,
sort of
Michelle and these
overshadowed?
people.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah, and you
I
have the
think,
Michelle Hockley.
but again, probably it goes back to the overall topic of just not enough is being done because I wouldn't say at that era that women's sports was less recognized, but probably it wasn't as popular in terms of everybody knowing about them because look at Joan. I mean, You never even heard that name mentioned when you come to somebody that play cricket for West Indies, right?
West Indies,
So
yeah.
I think the whole it hit back to what we've been saying, that just not is enough is being done generally, but of course, if we put it in a across the table, the women names will pop up. Yeah. So I think we keep saying it. You and then like my good friend Godfrey will talk about it. Everybody talks about it except probably who probably has some little power to start it. I think this. I think that is a good project for the sports council.
The sports council, yeah, yeah. But I must give you credit and others because I think you may be the second or third person who mentioned about trying to do something on their own. Because if nothing is done, Ali, God forbid, you folks leave us, we wouldn't know anything. And it has to start somewhere. As we said earlier, for example, little is known of Daddy Seppi, for example, Septimus Lacrette of River Road. You ask someone in River Road or someone who plays sports, because it wasn't just River Road or Queen's Park. Daddy Seppi dealt with Queen's Park. So anybody coming from anywhere to participate in sports at the Queen's Park knew about a Daddy Seppi. But little is known about him in terms of the history.
And look for example, Mindu Philip,
In
who
St. Lucia.
in our
Yeah,
era was online with Daddy Sep in Lucia,
right.
Daddy Sep here, Talbot, and the grounds are named after him,
Well, him, yeah,
Mindu Philip
yeah.
Park.
Midfield Park, yeah, in St. Lucia.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So there is a lot of work to be done. But as you say, if we probably didn't have the sports council was one thing, but we do have it, so that's probably a project that the sports council can get in. And the other thing is that we have the parish councils as well, so they can even break it up in terms of the
right.
various
Yeah,
parish councils.
start with them and then you put everything together, each
Put
parish.
everything together, each parish. Yeah, yeah, I agree with that. Thank you very much, Ali. It's always a pleasure. Thank you for your
You're
input,
welcome,
and
my bro.
I'm really hoping that you can finalize something and you can document something of your time that people probably will be able to cherish, remember, and you'll be able to pass on some way or the other, whether it's to the National Archives or whatever it is like that.
Well, thank you, bro, and happy birthday, anniversary, and whatever.
Yeah,
And
I
I hope you're
appreciate
coming down. I hope you're coming and get some sunshine. Eh?
it. Hopefully, at some
Bye,
point
man.
in time. Yeah.
Take care,
All
bro.
right. Thank you. Yeah. All right. You're welcome. Okay. All right, folks. That's Ali DeBellot joining us there, and certainly, um, yeah, you given us an insight into some of those things he believes, and his insight into those who would have made a valuable contribution, back then. And I'm certain even prior to Ali's era, there are people who might remember some folks as well. So that's why it's very important for us to start documenting. And I like the point where probably we can charge the parish councils in starting this project in terms of documenting at the parish level, and then the National Sports Council will collate and put things together to have a national archives. Um, it will be awesome for us to make that move. And these are low hanging fruits, because this is how we are doing this program there. I'm certain there are people who can go forward, speak to people, document. And in this day and age of technology, you can just input information, right? And it's documented digitally. So it's not so much of writing and things like that. You can record, you can get it transcribed, electronically as well. So it's not so much you have to do, right? It's just identifying the people, speaking to them, probably visiting the homes of our relatives of former sportsmen and sportswomen who probably would have left us. They may have documents that's available that can verify certain things, and that even can illustrate things that they may be willing to provide to a sports museum or something to that effect. Probably a medal from back in the 60s or something like that. So, a boots that someone wear, they were wearing when they were playing football for Autumns or Dauntless or the national team back then, that they may be willing to provide, but you have to make that effort. Thank you again, folks. Our next program will be after Thanksgiving, right? You see my turkey is already up. Yeah, my turkey is already up. So, no one coming and, begging me for turkey and things like that. So, right, here it is. Yeah, my turkey is on its way, right? They'll get one. Yeah. So, that's all for our program for this week. During the week, we'll let you know what we'll be talking about because we're coming towards the end of our program for 2025 because we're going into December. And, as soon as we hit what is believed to be the busy period for folks getting ready for the Christmas, we normally take a break and then we resume in the new year. So I'll let you know which weekend will be our final weekend for our program, right? And once again, don't forget that you can support the Kellen Batiste Foundation. They have the Kellen Batiste Memorial Football Match on Saturday, December 6th, 4 p.m. at Monrouge Playing Field. Just Sports under 15 coming up against Rangers under 15. And then we have Grand Mall Generals versus Just Brand St. Andrews, followed by Kellen Batiste Select 11 against St. David's Masters FC, right? And then we also understand that Dominica's first Olympic medalist, Fia Lafont, she will be the special guest for the 7th annual Kellen Batiste Memorial Football Match. She will also participate in some sessions, motivational sessions with our character athletes. So that as well is good. Folks, continue to, do whatever it is that you think you can do to assist in the development of sports. Wherever possible, whether it's through consultation, through mentoring, whatever it is like that. So I know we are quick on criticizing and doing, and, saying things that probably people may determine is not in line with what they think it should be. But, people share, they share different opinion, right? So sometimes you don't take it personal. You just take it as someone who shares a different opinion to yours, but you can correlate, right? Thank you very much once again. Edwin, thank you very much. I will follow up on you regarding the character games tickets and any other outstanding information. I know Claire wanted to know about the numbering of the tickets. I got an assurance that they will be doing the numbering of the tickets in terms of the seats. So that's great. I will follow up on that as well. Thank you, Gordon. Thank you as well to Michael Jackson. Thank you very much for being part of our program. Folks, that's all for this weekend. Thank you for joining us, and invitation is yours to join us for another program next week, God's willing. Until then, do have yourself a pleasant weekend. Happy Thanksgiving.